Okay, I have gotten confirmation that we are good to go on the next run. So Mike, just do it.
Hey there folks, Zeikier here, and this is Contra Hardcore, and with me is my student, Zeikier, running Contra Hardcore, both of us, he, him. Thanks, Zeikier. This is Contra Hardcore. This is a game that I heard some things about, but well... So we're gonna be running the boss... the lab fight Browny run, which is Browny, the character, and there are branching paths in this game and this is basically the golden route of the game, like for the true ending, I guess. So the run won't start until we dismount from the vehicle very gracefully, and I'll let you know with the countdown. This has a few periodic flashing lights, so just be warned, and yeah, hope you guys enjoy the run. Yeah. Okay. So the run will begin in 3, 2, 1, let's rock. So yeah, this is Contra Hardcore. Side-scrolling shooter, basically the answer to Contra 3 on the Super NES, and I guess in a sense, Gunstar Heroes also for the Genesis. They have a lot of DNA. Oh, nice pick up there, Zeke. Oh, thanks, Zeke. In my practice runs, like, getting that A weapon has been like such a pain in the butt, just because like there's so many random. The first part of this run is so chaotic, and like it's just like it's really easy to not get that A weapon, but having that is pretty satisfying just because it saves a lot of hassle later. Okay, so this boss is pretty easy. Most of the run is basically a no death run, but if you lose a weapon, it's not too big of a deal, but it helps to like not lose them just to make things go quicker. Yeah. Okay, so here is the first major flashing light warning. This guy is gonna just be huge and flash up the screen. And there is one spot I like to. As a kid, I always sit here just to like make sure I can just like. There are pillars of fire that'll show up. Okay, flashing light warning. That'll show up, and this is like the perfect spot to just like stand under him and shoot at him. Oh yeah, Zeke. When I was practicing this, I found that was pretty ideal, and like it's so rare that I was able to get the A weapon that just like it's satisfying actually being able to get the run. Okay, so. One of the reasons that Browny is considered the easy mode character is that he has a shorter hitbox. He's like half the size of everyone else, and all his weapons are tailored to their specific use. In this case, especially the C weapon, the electromag yo-yo, which is a boss killer if you use it right. The D weapon we don't really need to use, but it is useful if you have it. Just, you know. Okay, here's the first boss. Now, the world record runner, I've noticed, like, can kill this boss before it even starts this phase. Yeah, Zeke, I don't really understand, like, why he was able to do that. Like, I don't know, that it feels like luck more than anything. But here we can basically destroy this. Nice. Okay, that's the first level down. And here's the first branching path. We either go after Deadeye Joe or rescue the research center. Going after Deadeye Joe is basically the bad route part. Okay, we're rescuing the research center. And this will, if you have any announcements to talk about the marathon or anything, feel free to, because this is pretty much just like easy, lazy auto-scrolling, basically. So while Zeke's doing this, I'll say, like, while a lot of this game is pretty frantic, I've played it long enough to where, like, my difficulty nerve endings are scorched and it's hard to tell what parts are actually hard. A lot of this game, like many shooters, is like, as long as you're holding down the fire button, you should be able to handle basically anything, especially that section. In this part, you can get hurt by the robot's hook, but luckily he doesn't always. There we go. He doesn't always like hit you. He'll always be in that position. And then we just use the yo-yo. Go him what for? Take him down. Nice little mode 7 in this one. Yeah, I was really impressed by how much mode 7 was. Like I played a lot of Genesis growing up, but I was impressed by like how much mode 7 there was in the game. Yeah, that's pretty great. Okay, that boss down. Okay. Now sliding not only goes a little faster, it also gives Browny some iframes. His slide is the longest of the cast, and also sliding is very useful for like avoiding some hits under pressure. Sometimes you won't always catch it, but yeah. Okay, this part of the level, we just run, ignore the dudes. Ah! Didn't ignore them good enough. Okay. Double jump to combat faster. Why not? Okay, here will be the next major boss flashing light warning. This guy will take not as much as the screen as the first mini boss in level 1, but enough. Okay, this guy's gimmick is that he will build things out of little building block things out of junk, and we have to destroy them. And he doesn't take kindly to that. There we go. All right, 2 levels down. Doing good so far, Zeke. Besides the one weapon loss earlier in this level, yeah, it could be going worse, Zeke, but you know. Definitely going a lot better than some practice runs get, like not messing up that level 1 power up. Okay, now here's where the paths reconverge. We just lay some tripwire for these bikers. Okay. Now we slide through this section. Yeah, we don't have to kill the cars to get past this part, which was surprising. I even noticed I've been getting guns. Oh, hold on. Wait to slide here. Okay, yeah, that messes me up a lot in my attempts too. But yeah, you shoot this guy. If you stay on the left side, you avoid his attacks. Not that it really matters with Browny, but okay, he's taken care of. We get down into the base. Watch out for these turrets. Nice dodge, thank you. And we are the second boss. This guy's also pretty easy. I kept the A weapon on just so that I don't accidentally lose the C weapon, which we'll be needing to quick kill these bosses. For those of you familiar with Cuphead, this boss does the Taurus, Sagittarius, and Gemini zodiacs, just like the Cloud Lady boss in Cuphead. So it's good to see that this game gets referenced in the. It's good to see what games Cuphead references. It makes people like me who only played the Genesis as a kid feel seen. Okay, now Gemini is the only real RNG of this part of the fight because sometimes it'll move to the right, and for most characters that's pretty much it. That's pretty much death. But luckily, if it happens for Browny, he can just jump over it. Now for this part, we just use the yo-yo, avoid the T-squares in the square hole. Now normally the world record run will use a bomb to take out this phase, but we are going to be saving our bombs for a much more annoying boss later on. Yeah. Like I said, Zeke. So I've tried using the tried low percent runs, which is where you only use the gun, like the default machine gun, and it is a lot trickier than you'd think it would be, especially for Browny. Like normally his height is useful, but for low percent that is a liability because especially during that tank phase, you have to be jumping up constantly to hit the core, and without taking damage, it just takes forever. It's a very interesting run to practice, especially since there's no leaderboards right now, so if anyone want to go for it. But yeah, like it's definitely a much more it's interesting to see how size dynamics finally play into the game, especially for Browny. Okay, now here we're going to be getting killed by monkeys. Yeah. The some runs do slide through that, but it's just safer just to walk walk slowly and use that A weapon to mow everything down. Oh yes, Browny does indeed come up short. Okay, here's a boss that has some RNG to it. Sometimes he'll open with a laser attack, and sometimes he won't. Either way, he takes just a nice. Sometimes he'll use 2 hands, sometimes he'll use 1 hand. Out of the way. Now I think if you're in the middle when he uses 2 hands, the recoil from the bridge going off screen does kill you. But yeah, okay, this is something as a kid I always liked using the D weapon for, even though the run normally uses the C weapon. Just because it's so satisfying seeing all the shield bubbles attack the worms. Oh yeah, I agree. That was a very, very satisfying while trying that out. Okay, here's another slightly annoying boss. He'll have a bunch of different actions he'll go through. This is one of the more annoying ones because you can't. And he'll almost always go into that ball form, and that's just. This guy is just such a goof. And in games where you die in 1 hit, being a goofball is like the worst thing you can do for the player. Luckily, since Browny is short, you don't have to worry about crouching. You know, most of the other characters will have to crouch to avoid those legs being thrown. Okay. Here's coming up. This is Buddy. Hit them enough times, they will take off. Flying around. This is another point where the run will normally use a bomb just to deal with that phase faster. But like I said, there is a boss coming up near the end of the run that requires at least, I want to say, 4 bombs to take out quickly. Yeah, in my practice runs, like when I got to that boss, it was just such a pain. I know, right? It's just the worst. So now that since we didn't go after Deadeye Joe, he's back in this mech. For these routes, he will either be in places he normally isn't, or he will just harass us in different ways. So this boss really plays with the recoil mechanic that a lot of your guns have, and as you saw, the more I shot him, the faster he spun, and if I didn't kill him fast enough, he'd be firing lasers at us, which would be a lot more unpredictable if you're shooting with high recoil. Now, Browny's B weapon has very low recoil and a pretty quick rate of fire, which is really handy for this boss in particular, if you played it carefully. But since the C weapon just annihilates bosses, is not quite as necessary, at least in that first phase. So this boss I basically call VIII Farce, because if you've played Gunstar Heroes, one of the highlights of that game is a fight called VIII Force, where you're going up and down corridors, fighting the boss in like up to 7 different phases, and it is a treat. This boss is not a treat; it is waiting. So. Yes, a reprieve from the hectic pace of the game otherwise, but not very interesting in practice. And now here comes the second phase. Much less reliant on recoil, it's more about the random position he lands when he rolls, but we take him out. Okay, we're going to be moving on to we're going to follow him towards the final phase of the fight. And because Deadeye Joe is in there, he will now fire missiles in this part of the crawl, when normally he would just be crawling without firing missiles. Yeah, without the A weapon, that's slightly more annoying, trying to keep the missiles in check, but nothing too crazy. Stay away from him when he's swinging, when he's swanging. And one more little corridor before we start the final phase proper. Okay, and here's where the B weapon shines in this run. Now, higher recoil weapons, he will swing like crazy, and he also has this crazy-ass flash warning coming up when this boss dies, which is soon-ish. Yeah, so that is... It teaches you to slide, and teaches you about recoil, which is one of the few which is actually really the only boss that really does that. But yeah. Okay, that level done. And here comes the second branching path of the run. We are caught by the villain and betrayed by the doctor. Oh, that son of a gun. It was the doctor all along. Ha! Nice reference, Zeke. Thank you, Zeke. Okay, so both the chase and the lab paths are this fight is the same. Like there's no differences. So we're fighting the Dr. Geo Mandrake, and he will be combining everything that you fought from the previous level into hideous monstrosities that we will handily destroy with the C weapon. And also an absolute banger of a track and an absolute banger of a sound of an OST. Science can't stand up to the might of also science. Okay, now this one spawns a buddy. He does have the chance of spawning a bomb, so we're going to keep him nice. So we're going to keep him alive in case he does, and we got one, so that's a boon. And we also got our A weapon back, which we won't be using. Easy peasy. I also love that every enemy has a unique death animation, which really helps. It give them personality, but it gives their explosions personality, and that's cool. So the Doctor finally makes his ultimate creation, Walter Cronkite, which proceeds to eat him, and then is gonna eat us. Oh my gosh! And then we yo-yo him. Normally, you have to have, if you have a non-piercing weapon, that fight is a drag. But we do, and that's the way it was. And we're on to the final branch of the run. So I noticed the C and D routes are a lot more cinematic than the A and B routes. Like they do, like I like this section because like it shifts the perspective of the boat based on where the enemy's coming from, and I think that's a really cool way to like just play around with the screen without needing too much stuff. Hey, rad. Yeah, those first two hot mic. Those first two phases are pretty simple. This one is probably the worst part of the run, just because of how unpredictable the dolphin bot is. It can either do long jumps like that. It can do this again. It can do quick short hops. Dang. That was lucky. Oh yeah. Yeah, normally my practice runs have just like not gone well at all. Yeah. I'm glad it didn't give you too much trouble. Okay, flashing light warning for this one, and also one of the best fights in the game. Each of the previous mini bosses combined to form 3 different bots. In this case, the Walker. Oh my gosh! This was one of the coolest boss fights of the game. I love just like how crazy it is. It's like tough, but not like overwhelmingly tough, but it's also like keeps you on your toes just because there's so much going on. Now we have some RNG with these, like it won't always use the same attacks. We want to hope that good. We want to hope that we can finish it off before it starts another long animation, because like it won't end its phase until the animation is done more often than not. This is a little tricky. If he starts walking, his hitbox will extend. Oh, nice. This is just free damage. Yeah, this is one of the worst ones for time loss, because if we don't get a good pattern, it'll just drag the fight on. Okay, here's the third phase. Has a few dangerous attacks, but luckily we'll see what the RNG decides to give us. Oh, it won't give us anything. Hot damn! Wow, that was great. Normally, yeah, there are 3 different attacks. One is a screen wipe that whose crosshair you have to like sit in to avoid. One is dragging his spear along the ground that you have to follow, and one is just like jumping over some tank treads. Okay. Oh boy. Not needed. Yeah. Once again, anything involving the A weapon is just whoa. I see that bullet. Anything involving getting the A weapon is just a nightmare. Luckily, we got 4 bombs, which should be good. And like I said, we don't need the A weapon, but it'll be nice to hopefully get it. Okay, we've destroyed all of Bahamut's bots, so now he's just sending his foot soldiers after us and being silly with their formations. Okay, the circle is easy. Then he does a line. Line go down. The yo-yo is behaving itself very well tonight, or today. Normally it won't always like stay perfectly on enemies just because of like how it tracks things, but luckily it is doing so very well. Nice. Okay, here is it is technically a branch, but it just gives you a game over. So you can either join Bahamut or refuse, and we're going to garbage. Okay. Okay. So one thing I learned while practicing this run is that Bahamut does not go to the sides of the screen until he does a major move. So you can just like stay on the left or the right, wait for him to attack. And that was a really good run. He didn't use any of his major attacks, so we just got to stay to the right and just beat him senseless. And that is where we wanted to use 4 bombs, because Bahamut either takes less damage from bombs or he's super tanky. Plus, like, it seems like it's like one of the few fights that relies on every frame of the bomb actually hitting him to do damage, and that just like makes saving bombs a more important time saver than the other places the run would normally use bombs. Like normally this would be the last place we use bombs just because it ends the fight like super quick. But Joe is simple enough that it's not really that big of a deal. Yeah, see, kind of a underwhelming finale for Joe's fights, given like you told me like the other routes like he has more of a showing. Yeah, it's kind of a bummer, but you know, there's so much going on. It's only so much they can do, I guess. Now we're climbing. I'm going to nice first try. Okay, so we climb up. The alien cell is running amok in this here missile. Okay. Once again, Yo-Yo making short work of these bosses. Okay, we are on the final few bosses of this run. Yeah, sometimes he'll reach down for a bite, but he didn't. All right, time for the final boss. Only 2 phases, which is kind of a bummer, but still a cool fight, sort of. Okay, this is where the A weapon is really useful. You gotta take out a bunch of these sprouting hands, and eventually it'll shift to the second phase. Alright, we're going to shoot David K's Megatron from Beast Wars every time he spits out worms and exposes his heart. And there we go! That's time. Good run, Zeke. Yeah, thanks. Sorry I couldn't really, sorry I couldn't really coach that much. I've been running those other 2 games, like it was just a lot to handle over the 90-day period, but you did well on that run. Thanks, Zeke. I thought, I'm glad this was a shorter run. That way it was just easier to learn without there's not too much downtime, there's not too much to worry about. It's mostly just running and gunning, and just it's good. I never played it as a kid, so it was nice playing this and just seeing what I missed, gems on the Genesis, the Gemesis. Ha! But yeah, I'm glad I could share it, and yeah. And thanks for having us, Speedromizer, and yeah, that's basically it. Glad we were able to show this off, and yeah. So hope you guys enjoy the rest of the marathon if you're shot for time.
All right, Mike, go to break screen. Alright, well, we're gonna run ads, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, we're gonna run ads, and after that we're gonna hand over to a different host. Our next host is going to be... Talia. So, we'll be right back after the ads. Right, I think we're back from the ads. Seems like it. Yeah, we are back from the ads. Talia is still taking a bit to set up, but that should be done soon. In the meantime, we got a... Actually, Talia is right here, but we do still have a donation from George. Let's kick... And George donated $1 and said, let's kick off the most important question of the event to DJ's Delight. And I assume... I don't know, but I assume that the incentive was going towards us say yes or no to disco. Whatever that is referring to. Well, that's it from me. I'm ready to hand over now.
Hi, my name is Talia. Thank you for hosting 32. Oh dear. Well, thank you very much. Like I said, hello! Hello, chattos and catos! Friendos and foxos, my name is Talia. I may or may not be a fox. Welcome back to Speedromizer 8, here live on twitch.tv/Speedromizer. Now, chat, if you have not tuned into this before, which if you're like me and you've been working way too much over the past couple weeks, then yes, that would be me. This is the only speedrunning marathon with a twist. So what you submit is not what you're running. So you heard that right, folks. These runners are running things that are not their speed game. They are randomly allocated a speed run, and they have 90 days to get good. And you know what? They've been getting really good. I've been able to catch a little bit here and there. Chat, this has been so impressive. I'm so excited to see the rest of them. So, that being said, this is, so far, has been the wildest, most chaotic thing that I've ever seen, and if you didn't think that was the case, well, you've not been here very long. Today we are supporting QMUNITY. What is QMUNITY? Well, QMUNITY is British Columbia's queer, trans, and two-spirit resource center, providing a safe space for two-spirit, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, intersexual, asexual folks and all their allies. They improve the lives of their community and provide them with support through an array of programs and services, like its youth, seniors, and older adults, counseling, employment, and informational referrals for programming and services. They connect folks through volunteer opportunities and peer support groups. QMUNITY also provides education services and queer inclusivity training through publications, one-on-one consultations, and interactive workshops. Yeah, so you're right, Two Worlds. People literally just learned these games. They have had 90 days. They submitted their runs. A Speedromizer said, great, here's a different one. You got 90 days. And so the folks you've been watching last weekend and this weekend have all only had 3 months to learn their runs. Which is pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I am not so talented as these folks. Right. We are still getting things set up on our end, but let me tell you about what's coming up next. So, coming up next, we have Forza Horizon 4. Written All Roads Races by Waffle. Now, chat, you probably can't hear it because my accent is all over the place, but I may know a thing or two about Britain's roads, and all I can expect from this is lots of roundabouts and no turn signals. I'm calling you out, Britain. But I'm also really curious. Like I said, chat, I've been away. I was not able to be around the first weekend. So if you happen to catch anything that was particularly interesting, I want to hear what you've enjoyed so far. And if you've looked ahead on our schedule, I'd like to hear what you'd like to see coming up. Because we've got some really amazing runs coming up. Well, we're ready for the chaos of Forza Horizon 4. I can't wait. There better be roundabouts. We need to go through Magic Roundabout. Is that the really chaotic one? You know, the one that's got like 12 entries and exits? can't actually comprehend that roundabout. I've seen it. I've not been through it. I'm too terrified to go through it. The Wally one. That's right. We had a Wally run. I saw that it was happening. But work was like, hey, you got to do the work. I'm going to put that on my list.